So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Marwin, I'm going to unmute you here. Your mic is now live. So my name is David Dennis. I am the VP of Marketing at Bitnami. I will be also the host and moderator of today's webinar. We also have Marwin Mema with us today, who is the eXo Platform Product Marketing Manager. Can you say hi, Marwin?
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into this webinar.
Great. So today we'll talk a little bit very briefly about Bitnami applications in the Microsoft Azure Government Cloud, where eXo is represented. And then Marwin will take it from there, and he'll talk about eXo Platform, what the use cases are, how eXo addresses these, and then a demonstration of eXo Platform. So for those of you who may be a little bit new to Bitnami, so Bitnami provides an application catalog of about 150 different applications, and we provide these for really the largest clouds out there. So you can find Bitnami packaged applications on Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, and several other clouds. In today's particular case, we're going to be focusing a little bit on the Microsoft Azure Gov Cloud, but the benefits that we're going to be talking about at Bitnami and for eXo are applicable wherever you choose to use it. For those of you who have used open source, there are some advantages to using a Bitnami application. You can run them with a single click. We keep them up to date. As soon as upstream components are released, we update them as soon as they're available. Everything you need in terms of running it is already integrated, so some of the problems you get sometimes with open source where there are dependencies maybe missing, we've already solved those, and we've also tuned them for performing well, in this case in cloud environments. And lastly, we do a lot of work to make sure that they're secure and optimized for cloud environments. And for those of you who pay attention to security news, you'll see that every time a security violation comes out, Bitnami is pretty quick about patching all of the applications. Moving forward a little bit, for those of you who are government workers in the United States, the Microsoft Azure Government Cloud is now live with a selected sampling of Bitnami applications, including eXo Platform. And as I'm sure Marwin will talk about, eXo is a very popular application for government users, both state, local, and municipal. But also, if you're outside of the United States, you can choose to get eXo Platform via normal kind of cloud avenues. So with that, Marwin, I'm going to hand the ball over to you, and you will then have the presentation from there.
Thanks, David, and thanks everyone again for attending this webinar. I'd like to start by thanking Bitnami for organizing this webinar today and for helping bring exciting technology like eXo Platform to more people, making it quicker and easier to launch to the cloud, easier than ever, I should say. So I will start by presenting eXo as a company and as a product and as a value proposition, what sort of solutions we can use eXo Platform for, and what sort of organizations use eXo today, and then we will proceed to a demonstration.
Hey, Marwin, can you speak a little louder? Some in the audience are saying you're a little faint.
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you.
All right, now, who is eXo? eXo is an open source enterprise software editor. It's been in business since 2003 and it operates globally. eXo Platform combines the intelligence and the robustness of an enterprise portal technology with the user experience design of a modern collaborative digital workplace. We have managed to create the industry's first open source digital collaboration platform, and today this is being used by small and large organizations worldwide in different key activity sectors, and it's commercially backed open source software. So you can get SLA-based support services, maintenance, and professional services for using eXo Platform for your project. Be it an intranet project or an online community project or a partner extranet or a customer extranet project, we can help you do that. So the platform can be deployed on-premise or evidently in the Microsoft Azure cloud in order to provide organizations with the key applications and services that their users need today. And it focuses on things like team collaboration or building social intranets or knowledge management solutions that are highly interactive and social and collaborative in nature, as well as the community sites or extranets that I mentioned. It does this within a unified and secured environment. Security is very important as far as eXo platform is concerned. And that typically, the platform typically focuses on maximizing user engagement, collaboration, social engagement, and accelerating access to information and accelerating productivity. So in terms of our locations, we're based in the United States, Paris, and North Africa, Tunisia. And in terms of our network of partners, as you can see, we have partners worldwide. Today, they can bring added value to you as an end customer. Now, here are some sample challenges that we find organizations increasingly face today and that we can help them overcome using eXo platform. Today, we have businesses in multiple locations, employees that move around quite a lot, different time zones, different geographic locations. And so the question is how to bring all these people together in terms of collaboration and sharing information, working around documents, syncing up around products, using one unified platform where everybody knows how to use and everybody can actually enjoy using. The second example challenge that we see today is what we refer to as infobacity. Inbox clutter, too much email, too much information and collaboration taking place using email. This is not working out anymore, and so we work on providing effective alternatives for collaborating, for building better collaboration between teams and colleagues and departments and whatnot, in a way, in an environment that you have full control on in terms of where the information goes, the security aspect of it, how to retain all of that information. So in terms of unifying your IT setup, we also find this to be increasingly challenging for organizations today. We have multiple departments, multiple teams and business units using different tools, and the challenge that creates is information gets lost, for example, across these different tools. Somebody solves a problem somewhere, somebody else faces the same problem, but they have no way to access the solution that has already been found. So how do we solve that sort of problem? It's something that we will address with a demo scenario today. And finally, another thing that we focus on, I should say, is communication. How to improve communication and better engage users, better engage communities and employees. So I think that most organizations today have departments that are surprisingly siloed in terms of communication and knowledge sharing. And the aim here is to empower employees through, again, a unified platform that is still role-based, secure, and where information can be controlled in terms of who can access what. But at the same time, where it's easy for employees to find each other and to communicate with each other in a horizontal way, but also to still be able to do top to bottom type of communication, corporate communication. So we will see an example of the more interactive, horizontal, social type of communication, and we will also see another example of the top-down, institutional, editorial type of sharing of announcements and communications using eXo platform. So I'm excited to introduce eXo platform today, and I can tell you, I can show you some of the core components in eXo platform, the main features. So first of all, it's an all-in-one platform, an out-of-the-box solution accessible from any web browser, so it's a web app, and also accessible from any mobile device. There's a free mobile app that you can use, that anybody can use, and also it's a communications platform, as mentioned, with social engagement features. It also has a module for collaboration and content management, so you can expect to see features like document management, calendars, discussion forums, task management, and so on. Finally, it has all of the flexibility that we need in terms of being able to extend the platform with integrations with third-party applications or things that you already use, or in terms of customizing the design in order to reflect your brand and corporate identity. Now, how does eXo work? We work with a subscription model, and you can see here that we have three subscriptions: professional one, an enterprise one, and an enterprise plus one. The user allowance is listed here for each one of these subscriptions, as well as what each one of these subscriptions gives you access to. So all of them essentially give you access to software maintenance, the software itself, production-ready, certified, and tested software ready to be deployed in the Microsoft Azure cloud. And in terms of support, access to the SLA-based support, you can see that they differ as well. So depending on your needs, chances are we have just the right solution for you. In terms of pricing, you can just go to exoplatform.com, where we will have pricing information. And feel free to reach out to us if you need any details or if you have any questions with regards to the licensing and subscriptions. Now, let me show you, in order to close this presentation, some examples of organizations that use eXo Platform today. Now, I'll start with the defense sector. The company actually started in response to demand from our first customer, which was the United States Department of Defense, who are looking for an open source enterprise portal technology back in 2003. And today we are trusted by several organizations in the defense and industrial sectors, as you can see. So there's the NATO, the French Army, the Global Network, for example, in the United States, has used our technology, Bureau Veritas. In the public sector as well, for example, the French government trusts our solution. The Élysée is the equivalent of the White House in the United States, and they use eXo Platform for a collaborative intranet solution for their employees. Several departments in France, city councils in Europe, the Belgian Ministry of Finance, and so on. And in terms of banking and finance, you can see the European Investment Bank, HSBC. CaixaBank is the second largest bank in Brazil, and they use eXo for several portals, one for internal collaboration and one for external for communicating with their customers. In the tech and telecom industry, you can see, for example, Red Hat, Magic Software in New Zealand. Consumer goods and services, you can see some customers like InDemand and the Space Cinema. And all these organizations vary in terms of size. Some of them are quite small, some of them are quite large. Their needs for security also vary, as you can expect from customers like in the government sector and the defense sector. They take security very, very seriously, using open source and standard-based technology that's based on open standards, allows them to for example, have freedom and avoid vendor lock-in and be able to do things like conduct security audits on the core of the software, things that they can't do with any software provider. This also helps make the platform as robust as possible for all of our customers. So finally, education and healthcare, you can see the University of California, Los Angeles, the University of California, San Francisco, the Johns Hopkins University are examples of universities that use our technology. Healthcare and health insurance companies as well, especially in Europe, use eXo Platform today. So I hope that gives you an idea in terms of who is eXo Platform and what sort of background this technology has. Now let's proceed to a demonstration. I will be showing you eXo platform live, and we will be running through some use cases and usage scenarios. And I encourage you to write any questions you have as we go through this demo. Once we finish with the demo, me and David will be happy to take your questions. So here we go. Now, here is the sample intranet site that uses eXo platform. Now, as you can expect, you can find eXo platform in Bitnami's catalog of applications, and you will be able to find information and documentation as far as the installation is concerned. I've seen a question earlier regarding installation. So feel free to go there and feel free to read through the documentation. It's very straightforward in terms of installing this and getting started with it. Now, I have an instance of eXo platform, an out-of-the-box instance of eXo platform. I just populated it with some data and some information for our demo. I also have 3 users that I'll be relying on who will help me show the platform to you. Right now, I'm logged in as Adam Holmes. So Adam is a regular user in this intranet that is currently being used by this virtual company called Acme Corporation. I have a second user called John Smith. Let's go to John. Here's John. So John is the administrator of this platform. As you can see, he has access to administration features. And I have a third user called Mary Williams. She will also help us go through some scenarios and interactions between these 3 users. All right, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and switch to John. So right now, I'm logged into John. What I can see is the homepage. So you'll have a navigation menu to the left side by default. And this will allow you to browse and navigate the platform easily. I'll also see a menu called My Spaces. We'll see what that is about. So right now, I'm in the homepage. I can see some news feeds and some information. And I can see, for example, in this case, I can see the activity stream on my homepage, which will sort of aggregate all activities coming from my teams and departments and wherever I'm involved as John in terms of projects and communities of interest and whatnot. So as I log in the morning and go through this activity stream, I'll see what's happening in my teams and projects and departments. So it's a very user-centric experience, as you will see, where the end user is placed at the center of the experience. As John, I will only see relevant information, but I will still see top-down communications. I'll still see corporate communications, for example, in this case, in the form of a classical traditional news feed. So to the right side, we have a different approach. We have not a social type of activity stream, but more of a news feed where we can see, for example, employee of the month and announcements of that sort. And as I scroll down, I'll see things like today's event coming from my calendar. I can see who is online. I can see useful links, for example, links where I'll be able to go ahead and see some HR-related information, for example, or to a link that leads me to a place where I can ask questions easily, or to see all news, and so on and so forth. So the homepage is one of the places that you can customize in function of what your organization needs, your users need. So let's say that John is the company's VP of products, and today John decides to share an update with the company about a new product line that is about to be launched. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a space called Acme Communications. So maybe this is a space where we post announcements and important communications and have everybody be able to comment on them and ask questions. So first of all, I'll access the space by clicking on Acme Communications. And you will see that the space has its own landing page, it has its own activity stream, and I can use this microblog to post my announcements. I can say, for example, we're happy to announce a new product line, and so on and so forth. If I want to, I can also include the link to more information or to maybe a video presenting this product, or maybe I want to attach a document describing this new product line. So I can, for example, pick a featured data sheet here, and I can attach that to my post. I can click on share, and now everybody in this space will be able to see my post and interact with it. So if I switch to Mary, since Mary is a member of the admin communication space, she'll be able to see that on her activity stream. So without having to go to the space, she can like, she can comment, and she can, when commenting, she can mention colleagues such as John. And perhaps she has questions, so she can ask a question. Where can I learn more about this product, for example? So once I comment, if we go back to John, let's go back. Here's John. He gets notified immediately, and you can see that Mary has commented on his post. So I can go ahead and answer my colleague. And John can go to his notification settings, where he'll be able to decide how he prefers to be notified about the different activities that are taking place. Perhaps I don't like email, I can deactivate email and keep the on-site notifications. Maybe I want to keep email for email purposes. Maybe I want to keep email for interacting with the outside world, with customers and partners, and use the platform, the intranet, the on-site notifications for collaborating with my colleagues, where information will never be lost. So this is an example of a quick social type of interaction. Of course, we can do more than that. So let's go ahead and go back to Mary. Maybe Mary is the communications manager, and she notices this announcement, and what she wants to do, maybe she wants to create a news article in the corporate blog. So what she can do, she can, since she's a content manager, she will have access to the content management features. And this allows her to activate the content edit mode and go ahead, hover over the content, in this case, the news feed on the homepage. And she can either edit existing content by clicking on it, she can do an inline edit, or she can add new content by clicking on this plus button. So we will add a new article to this news feed. So I have a rich text editor, I have a lot of features and capabilities for personalizing my content. And eXo platform provides content templates for building any type of web content, such as the newsfeed that you just saw, but also things like image banners, forums, and so on and so forth. So in this case, my template requires that I put in the title, the content. So we're going to call this new product, maybe coming soon, for example, something like that. So this is my actual article, okay? And as per the template that I'm using, that we have configured the newsfeed to use, I can also include an image that will be displayed that will go with my article. So I'll pick this illustration, and I can also include a summary. So we can have a little summary on the article, and once people click on it, they can read the full article in a different page other than the home page. So this is my summary. Now, there are advanced features. If you click on the source button, for example, you can access the HTML source code. You can even access CSS and JavaScript and build sophisticated content. But notice how I don't need any technical knowledge to do any of this. This is very important. So I can just use the rich text editor, click on Save and Close, and then we can manage things like permissions. We will see this by group or by role in the organization. We can have comments, we can have votes, we can manage publications. So maybe I'm just an editor, I'm not a publisher, and I can request approval for this article that I just created from a publisher who will have to take a look at it and decide if it should be published so other people can see it or not. But since I'm a publisher, as Mary, and to make this quick, I'll just go ahead and publish this. Now, if we go back to the home page, we will see our new article. Now I have announced the new product to the entire organization through a traditional blog. So as you can see, there are several options for posting announcements to our users, and there are several options for things like who will see this, permissions, and so forth. All right, I hope that makes sense. Now, maybe let's say that Mary is working in customer support. Let's say that today she is discussing with a customer who is asking her a question. Now, maybe she doesn't have the answer to that question. So the first thing she does in this case, she can do a search and try to see if her question had already been answered previously. So if I, for example, being asked about some organic product, for example, I will go ahead and use what we call the unified search from the top toolbar. And this will pull up some results. I can see files, wiki pages, discussions, people. Sometimes we will see things like tasks, events. So it depends on the keywords I'm using. And if I want to refine my search, I can click on See All Search Results. And this will take me to a different page where I can do some filtering by source or by content type or by date and relevance or title. So if I am looking for a question that had already potentially been answered, I'll go ahead and look into the forums. So I'll just select, in this case, the discussions, and we can see that there's a discussion going on about this topic. So if I click on it, I can see that Sam, a sales rep, had already asked these questions. And we can see that Kate, a seasoned employee, had provided the answers. So maybe Kate is an experienced employee with a lot of information that she can share with others. You can see that this will allow our employees to not only ask questions, but also provide answers. And this can help the organization reduce what we refer to as silent knowledge. Employees who have the ability to contribute information, provide answers, and provide guidance and help to their colleagues, but they don't do it. They don't have the tools that encourage them to do it. They're not engaged enough to a point where they will feel compelled to contribute in this manner. Now, maybe Kate will leave the organization or retire. Whatever she contributed will be retained. The company, Acme, won't lose whatever Kate had to give, had to contribute. So it's just a matter of a search, and I'll be able, as Mary, I'll be able to find this information, answer my customer in a timely fashion, and there you go. So the forum is a great place for things like organized discussions, where information won't be lost. If somebody shares a document using email, chances are if you try to find that document or that email a year from now, you might have a difficult time doing that because information tends to get buried quite easily and quite quickly in email threads. So that's another feature that we can use to solve a problem, the forum. Now let's go back. I mentioned the notion of spaces, and I mentioned that Mary is a member, for example, of the customer support space, or maybe she's a member of the human resources space, or she can see the spaces where she's a member here. And if I take you to the catalog of all spaces in the organization, you will see that we can create departmental spaces, we can create project spaces. For example, if we're working on a project for a bank, I can bring in the team that's working on a project in that space, and we can privately share any tasks or documents or announcements or updates around that particular project. For creating a space, I can make my space as open or as private as I prefer. So it could be a visible space or a hidden one. It could be an open space, could be a closed space, or it could be something in the middle, whereby I'll have this button that says request to join, and people can request to join the space, and as the manager of the space, I, as Mary, can decide, for example, if I want to let them in or not. So I hope that makes sense. In terms of spaces, feel free to post your questions if you have any. If I take you to the customer support space, for example, you will see that I can't access the space unless I join it. If I take you to a space where I'm already a member, such as, let's go ahead and pick the human resources space, you will see that the space at the top has its own dedicated apps, such as a wiki, discussion forums, document management, calendar, task management, and since I'm the manager of the human resources space here, I will see space settings, and I'll be able to decide, for example, what applications we need for this space, so I can manage these apps, I can remove the ones we don't need, I can maybe rename certain apps for specific use cases. I can also manage the members of the space, invite groups of people, promote people to manage the space with me, and so on and so forth. All right. So let's say that, for example, we have a meeting and we have a need to communicate in real time this time. So if I go ahead and switch to Adam, now I'm Adam, maybe I'm managing a project team. So what I will do is go ahead and open up the chat app. So you will notice that the platform provides a chat app as well, which I can open here. And I can interact with my colleagues using this app, be it for one-to-one private discussions or for creating custom teams, and finally for communicating with existing spaces in real time. So I'll pick the product space, and I'm going to say hello to the team, and I'm going to say we have a meeting in a couple of minutes. Maybe we have a weekly sync up meeting, so my colleagues can hear and receive the notification. We can see that, for example, Don can see a visual notification and can interact quite easily with his colleagues through the chat. I'm going to say I'm ready as John, and you can see that at the moment, as John, I'm using the mini chat. So I can continue to work on whatever I'm working on and still communicate with my colleagues in real time. Or I can open the full context window of the chat where I'll be able to have more features, real-time collaboration. So as Mary, on the other hand, I'm going to say that I won't be able to participate. So I'm going to say, sorry, I'm on a call. I'm going to have to skip this meeting, and I'm going to change my availability to do not disturb. So let's go ahead and go back to Adam. So Adam is going to organize the meeting. He's going to say, John, could you please set up a presentation, for example, to the stakeholders next week. All right? So as John, I'm going to say, okay. And here's what I'm going to do as John. I'm going to take some collaborative actions without leaving the chat window. I'm going to click on the collaborative actions button here, and I'm going to add an event for next week. For example, presentation. Let's make it quick. So where will this event go? Where will it be created? Well, you guessed it, in the space, in the product space. Remember how I showed you that the product space, and every space for that matter, has its own set of apps, such as the calendar. In this case, the event will be created in that calendar for next Wednesday, in this case, in the morning. I'm going to pick 9:30 a.m. and even the location. Let's post that. Let's take another action. Let's assign a task. I'm going to assign a task for preparing the slide deck. And I'm going to assign this to Mary. She's not with us today, but that's okay. We'll see why. And I'm going to set the due date for end of this week. All right? Let's post that as well. And I can share links and I can upload files. Maybe I have a slide deck that we had previously successfully, and maybe I want to share that with Mary. Maybe she will find it useful. So I'm going to do a drag and drop of that slide deck to the chat window, and I get the message that says drop your file here. I can do that, and just like that, we have the file uploaded again with the team, with the product team in this case. So people who are not members of the products team won't be able to search for and find this document or see it anywhere in their notifications or activities. So I can also ask questions or raise a hand, and I can say it's done. So let's conclude this meeting. I'm going to go back to Adam, and I'm going to click on Stop Meeting, or I can select the important messages and click on Save Notes. And this will save meeting notes, which I can send by email or save in our wiki. So the wiki is a nice place for saving meeting notes or working on information, any type of information pages, such as documentation, things like procedures, policies, and so on. So now I have a link generated to the meeting notes. Let's switch and Mary, who missed the meeting, and see what that looks like. So maybe Mary is now available, and she doesn't want to read the chat messages or anything like that. She just clicks on the link to the meeting notes, and this will open up the meeting notes, and we'll be able to see a summary of what happens in terms of who attended the meeting and who missed the meeting. We will see the files uploaded, the tasks created, the events, the discussion minutes, and this is a wiki page, which means it's easy to edit and keep up to date. So if I click on Edit, I have a rich text editor, and I can go ahead and add other sections. For example, if we had integrated our video conferencing or our voice call service to this chat, because eXo platform is highly extensible and can integrate any business app. Maybe we discussed some things using voice over IP or in a video call, and maybe I want to go back after the meeting and add some neat notes such as next steps and things like that, so I can easily use the rich text editor to create a section called next steps and document whatever we discussed and whatever happened. So in the version note, I'm going to say added next steps. Okay, and I'm going to save that. So what happens now is we have version 2 created of our page, and somebody like John goes back to that wiki page. He'll be able to see the edits done by Mary, and we can see that this page has last been modified by Mary, and I can view the changes and view exactly what she changed or what she added. I can also go back and I can view the version history for this page. So if I, for example, select 2 versions, I have this button activated that says compare selected versions, which will also show me what happened from version 1 to version 2. So if I go back to Mary, another thing Mary will notice as she comes back to the platform after her call is a bunch of notifications, and she can see that a document, a slide deck has been uploaded in the product space, an event has been created, and so on and so forth. Same for the activity stream. She will see some activities generated automatically on the activity stream, like the presentation for next week. Maybe she has a question, this doesn't make sense, she will just post a comment and ask her a question. Same for the document, which she can like and comment on, and so on. Now, if we go to the Documents app of our space, maybe I will take that slide deck and start working on it, or I will upload a new document. I'm going to go with that, so I'm going to upload a new document. Maybe since we are in the product space, I will also start working on a new product brochure. So I will upload this Word document to my space just by doing a drag and drop inside the Documents app. Now I'll be able to right-click on the document and take some actions. As you can see, some familiar actions like sharing, deleting, renaming, or double-clicking to preview the document inside the platform, inside the Documents app, inside my space in this case. It's a Word document, so we will also see an Open in Word button. That means I can actually open the document in my Office application, and you can find information in our documentation. I'll share the link with you. Information such as what are the document types that are supported for previewing and for editing and whatnot. But in a nutshell, this allows you to open the document remotely without needing to download it, do your edits there, and once you click on save, in this case in Word, in Microsoft Word, this will create a new version. It will automatically approve a new version of the document and notify your colleagues, your space members, people who are working on the same document as yourself. They will receive an on-site notification or an email notification depending on their notification preferences. They will also see any comments that you create, any edits that you do, and whatnot, just like we saw earlier with the wiki page. Another thing that's important is to be able to limit the access to my document. In this case, I will remove space members, and I want to restrict access to this document to just a couple of people. And I'm going to go ahead and pick Adam, for example, and I'm going to give him read and modify rights, but not remove rights. So again, this is important to be able to have full control over who can see what in terms of not only documents, but also wiki pages, the apps themselves, or any part of the portal or the site, such as pages and so on. So if I would like to get inputs and involve another team, I can use the share button. Let's go ahead and share this with the marketing team. Perhaps I'd like to get their input with regards to the design of this product brochure. So I will include a message, and I'm going to say that they can edit since I'd like them to contribute to this document. So I'm going to share. I'm going to click on share. And if I switch to, let's say, Adam, maybe Adam is working in the marketing team. The first thing he will notice is an activity on the activity stream. I'll acknowledge this document shared by Mary in the marketing space, and I can go ahead and start working on it. So I can do this from the activity stream, by the way. If I click on the document, I'll be able to preview it immediately. No need to go to the space or do a search or try to find it. Everything is immediately available, immediately clickable and viewable. But I can still go ahead and access the marketing team space and go to the documents area where we will have a structure with folders and subfolders of our content or anything that's been shared. And I have a full set of features for collaborating around documents, viewing version histories, and so on and so forth. So I hope that gives you an idea on the content management and document collaboration capabilities here. What I'm going to do now is switch to John, and I'm going to use this search for trying to find a brochure, the latest version of the product brochure. So as soon as I type in my keyword, I'll see a bunch of results again, and we can see the Word file that's just been uploaded and that the team is currently working on. So if I click on it, I'll be able to read it and perhaps use it or contribute to it. Now, I'll have to note that when searching for documents, we're not just searching document titles, but also the text content inside the document, as well as the metadata information, any metadata tags that we have added to our documents. And this helps improve the search. If you make sure that your information is well structured, is well populated with metadata tags, this will improve searchability and findability of your document and content inside the platform, again, in a secure way. So we will never allow somebody who doesn't have access to something to find it with a search. All right, so now to conclude this demo, let's talk a little bit about using this platform to unify your IT setup. As you saw, the platform provides some key apps such as the wiki, document management, discussion forum, a calendar, which allows me to schedule private or shared events and share them with colleagues and teams, and which can interface with remote calendar systems as well. And we can see that we have also task management for working around tasks inside your spaces or for managing your private tasks. In this case, as John, I can create a task and schedule it and so on. So all of these apps allow you to work, and they're available out of the box, but you can still integrate third-party applications. I mentioned the ability to use the calendar, for example, as an interface of your remote calendar systems that you're using. Same with the documents. It can interface with documents or cloud document management applications. And we can do this with what we call apps. So you can build your own add-ons or use existing add-ons that are available for free. We have over 40 add-ons today in our catalog of add-ons, and some of them are connectors for calendars, for documents, for syncing up with documents in different areas outside the platform. You can also build add-ons for customizing behavior of the applications of the platform. You can build add-ons for changing the design or changing the skin of the add-on of the platform, and so on and so forth. So the platform also provides APIs. It has, for example, REST APIs, so it's open for developer innovation as well. It's a platform after all. All right, so I hope it gives you an idea on what can be achieved with eXo platform in terms of communications, in terms of collaborating with teams inside spaces, collaborating using activity streams, using document management, using search to find things easily and quickly, and using the wiki to share information in a fairly easy way as well. The wiki provides you an alternative to the Documents app because the wiki focuses on the information itself as opposed to the format of the information. You have activity streams that gives you quick access to all the activities in your spaces in relevant projects and relevant departments to you as a user, and personalized notifications. So with the activity stream and with the notifications, you don't have to worry about the visibility of the work. You can just focus on the work itself, and everything you do will be visible automatically to your colleagues. So it aggregates, it automatically pushes activities coming from the different apps like the document management, the forums, the calendar, in a place that will be visible for everybody. You don't have to keep asking for updates on that PowerPoint document that you're waiting for. You can just see what's going on through the activity stream and interact with it. So beyond that, there's also the possibility to extend the platform. Let's say you have a CRM. Maybe you're using something like Salesforce. You can just take a look, for example, in our catalog of add-ons. You will find a connector for Salesforce, which will help you, for example, create and bring information regarding opportunities from Salesforce and share them easily inside the platform. Maybe the your sales team is using the CRM, such as Salesforce or something else, and you would like to easily bring information and documents regarding customers and share them with your delivery team who don't have access, who don't have accounts to the CRM. So this will allow you to do that. This platform can unify all of your work processes and information and bring everything to a place that is user-friendly, that all teams have access to, regardless of where they're working from, what office, what location. If they're working on the move, they can use their mobile app, for example. If somebody like Mary goes ahead and creates a new poll, maybe she's an HR manager and she posts a new poll in the, for example, communications team, it will show up on the activity stream. And then you have somebody like Adam. He's back from lunch. He's accessing the platform from his mobile device. He sees the poll right away show up on his activity stream. He can just click on vote and cast his vote from there. He doesn't have to come here to the Acme communication space or anything like that. So everything is quick, everything is interactive, and you don't miss what's important. So I hope that has been useful. This is it for today's demo. Let's go back to the slide deck. Here are a couple of useful links. I encourage you to find eXo platform on Bitnami. You can go to bitnami.com/tax/exo-platform, or just do a Google search, Bitnami eXo platform. You'll find the documentation you need for getting started easily and quickly. You can also visit community.exoplatform.com, which is our online community. In the community site of eXo platform, you will find product documentation, you'll find an administrator guide, you'll find user guides, you will find also the add-ons that I spoke about, and you can also interact with our community in terms of asking questions. If you would like more information with regards to licensing and things like that, just go to exoplatform.com and reach out to us.
Marwan, thanks for the great demo, and we actually have a lot of questions. So if you're ready, Marwan, I can go ahead and start addressing those.
Let's do it.
Okay, the first one, let me scroll back here, is can we tag documents that are uploaded?
Yes, we can. So remember how I opened up the document for preview, and I was able to manage things like permissions, and I have a button for sharing the document. You have a bunch of other buttons, including adding tags to your document and metadata information. And like I mentioned earlier, this will improve the findability, this will improve the search for that document.
Great. The next question is, can we customize the landing page after login with our own HTML, CSS, and JS files?
Absolutely. So we have what we call the layout editor. It's so what you see is what you get editor. If you are an admin and you go to the landing page or any page, click on edit, go to page, click edit layout, you will see this layout editor, and you will see that you can just drag and drop things, like for example, this widget, I can drag and drop it to the bottom of the page, remove it, change its access permissions to show it just to a specific department, add other apps, add other widgets on the home page or other content, and so on.
Great. The next one is this tool specifically used for intranet applications, or can we use it for public users on the internet as well?
Remember the community site of eXo Platform that I mentioned, community.exoplatform.com. If you go there, you'll see that our public online community site actually uses eXo Platform. We have customers that do similar things. They can tap into their community, for example, and bring everybody on an interactive site that has features for example, engaging with customers or with partners. So no, you're not limited to intranet sort of use cases, but also you can create online community sites using this platform.
Great.
And I'm showing you here a screenshot of such an online community using eXo platform. You can see that I have the landing page customized and navigation a little bit customized as well.
Great. Next question, is the eXo PKI ready?
Is the eXo?
It's asking, is the eXo PKI ready?
I'm not sure what PKI means.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe they meant. Sounds like a plug-in type of an architecture. So okay, I guess we'll have to get back to the questioner on that one. For the next question, we have two questions really related to analytics, and they're both asking the same thing, which is, can you please show us some analytics features on usage, etc.
When talking about a collaborative social type of platform, it's not just about the features. We can have all the features in the world, but if users don't adopt it, if we can't see if it's being used by our user base, then our efforts will be for nothing. So Yes, you can have access to statistics regarding things like activity in forums, how many posts the activity streams are being posted, how much people are connecting with each other. These analytics are added to an add-on. So as you browse our catalog of add-ons, you'll notice that there's something, for example, called the eXo Pulse add-on, which adds an extra set of statistics regarding user activity. There's also analytics regarding your instance of Exo platform in terms of application statistics. You can find out what is the slowest application, and you can do something about it if you notice something is a little sluggish or slow. These metrics allow you to find out what's going on. And
Great.
finally, you can also develop extra statistics or plug statistical tools or analytical tools such as Google Analytics to your platform and use that if you prefer.
Perfect. A couple more questions. Do you have a main space?
No, there is no main space. What you can do, however, as an admin or as a community manager is create a space and invite everybody to that space and use that as a main space. You can configure your space, for example, for being used for that. I have an Acme communication space used for that purpose. I remove the apps I don't need from it. I have a blog in this space. I have an events calendar, discussion forums, files, and that's it.
Okay. A related question, where can you get to see all the blogs from different spaces?
Now, spaces allow you to see the activities that are taking place inside them using the activity sheets. If I go to the marketing space, first thing I'll see is the activities happening in this space. If I go to the product space, it's the same thing. If I go to the home page, I have something called the personal activity stream. And this one that you see here will aggregate activities coming from all of these spaces and display them to me in one place as John. So it targets the user that is currently logged in. So this is the model that we currently use out of the box.
Great. Boy, questions keep coming in. This is I know this one's going to be it depends kind of a question, but the question is, what type of infrastructure do you need to implement this?
It indeed depends. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to go to exoplatform.com/supported-environments or do a Google search for that. So here you will find information such as what are the operating systems that you can use that are supported, what are the database solutions that you can use. You can see MySQL, PostgreSQL, and a couple others. What are the single sign-on solutions that we support, the LDAP solutions, and so on and so forth. So go to exoplatform.com/supported-environments.
Great, thanks. We've got a couple more questions, and then we'll need to wrap it up soon after that. How would you describe the difference between the forum and the wiki?
Okay, so let's go to the wiki that's displayed under the company menu, under the general menu, and see what's going on there. So as you can see, we're using the wiki in this case for, first of all, storing meeting notes. Second of all, for policies, company policies. Wiki pages are easy and quick to create. They're suitable for things like policies, procedures, or even things like academic papers or studies. Any use case that requires you to create pages and share them with your colleagues and be able to edit them when necessary and be able to watch specific pages and be notified when there's an edit. We use, for example, a wiki page for our product roadmap at eXo Platform, and I follow that page. So every time our product manager adds a new feature on our roadmap, I am notified, and I can I never miss anything important with regards to what's happening with our product roadmap, thanks to the wiki, thanks to a wiki page. The forum, on the other hand, is your good old message board, your good old forum. You can create forum categories for discussions, for Q&As, for ideation, for sharing ideas, and so on and so forth. Both of these places, the wiki and the forum, are searchable. So you can easily find information in both places by using the search. By the way, both of these apps are connected with the activity stream. So if I create a new discussion or post a question in the forum, it will be pushed to the activity stream so that my colleagues can see it and they can answer me from the activity stream or from the email notification that they receive, for example. I hope that clears that up.
I hope so too. That was a very good answer. Next question, where is a doc file saved in the folder app?
So the Documents app is available for each space for sharing documents with teams. In this case, if we go to the marketing team and go to the Documents app, we see a bunch of folders and documents stored here. These are stored in the file system of the platform. If you're hosting this in your in Microsoft Azure, it stores the data goes there. In terms of folder structure, you can structure your documents here however you prefer. I'll note that this is CMIS compliant and WebDAV compliant. So it's easy to, for example, map a folder or the marketing team's documents app to, in this case, my Windows computer, create a drive here. So I can just go here, click Add Map Network Drive, and point it to any folder or any place in the platform. And that way I can access documents and have everything synced up between the platform itself and my computer. So I hope that somewhat answers the question.
Okay, great. Next one, this is going to keep coming in. How do you separate internal versus external content? Is that just via the Spaces feature?
Let's go ahead and switch to our admin, John. If I go to Administration, Community, and Manage Community, you can see that we can manage groups and users and memberships. So we can have, for example, a group called Employees and a group called Customers, let's say, for example. And then when you go to somewhere like the home page, you can say that my employees will see the activity stream, but my customers will only see this blog. I can say that my employees will see a bunch of spaces and will see this app, this link here, and the discussion forums. But if I log in as a customer, I won't see that information. Alternatively, you can even create separated sites. So the platform provides multi-site support, whereby you can create an intranet site, for example, and website, and have everything managed in one instance of eXo platform. In this case, I'll take you to the website, which I haven't shown during this demo quickly, and give you a taste of what can be achieved in terms of managing websites. So this is a public-facing website, and the nice thing is that you can share blogs, you can share content and apps and things like that between your different sites, and manage permissions and manage which group can see what, and what the public guests or public visitors to your website can see. And finally, you can, for your public website, you can manage things like SEO for optimizing your site, your public site, or public-facing pages for search engines, online search engines.
Okay, great. We have time for 2 more questions for the rest of you. We do need to wrap it up soon. If you do have something you want to ask, though, please go ahead and type it in, and we will address any questions that we weren't able to get to live. We'll contact you via email and deal with it that way. Okay, the last questions here, Marwan. How would you describe the difference between the forum and the wiki?
I think we already addressed that one, David.
Okay, great. How does eXo integrate with BPM tools, business process management tools?
Well, the first thing I would advise you to do is go to the community site, community.exoplatform.com, and then click on the add-ons button and see what sort of add-ons have already been developed, what sort of connectors to your target apps have already been developed. I can tell you that we have, for example, developed an integration with BonitaSoft, which is a BPM, business process management application, which is also a Java-based application like eXo Platform, and open source based, just like eXo Platform. And it allows you, as you can see, to have your workflows that have been designed inside the BPM accessible and available inside your eXo Platform to your users. Your users can just use eXo Platform and see, for example, a list of processes that they can execute. At any given moment, they can also see the tasks that they have, If we have, for example, a purchasing or procurement type of process that we have designed in Bonita Studio, that will then become available to your users, and they will have the forms and everything rendered and displayed in eXo platform. They will never have to leave eXo platform to work on these workflows and processes. So you'll find this as an add-on in the add-ons center. Just go to community.exoplatform.com. Of course, if you think you have another BPM in mind, then chances are we can think about building a custom integration for that.
Great. And so with that, we'll need to wrap it up. Marwan, thank you so much for the great presentation, the great demo, and answering all of these questions. This might be the most questions we've ever had on a single product on a webinar, so well done. With that, for those of you who perhaps joined us late, this has been recorded, and the link to the recording will be sent out to everybody who registered to the webinar as soon as it's available. So if you want to share it with your colleagues, or if there is something that you missed that you want to review again, or maybe you didn't hear the whole webinar, go ahead and do so, and it will also be posted up on YouTube. So with that, Marwan, thank you for your time. Great job.
Thank you.
And everybody else, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.